We've all played these games where we play an Ultra Ball, discard two cards from our hand on turn one, look into our deck, and realize that key cards are prized. In fact, so many of them are prized that our chances of winning the game are basically zero. Or maybe not that bad, but we've all played these games where we've been pretty much defeated by the prize cards. So, what exactly is the chance of prizing cards? Well, let's start with a few mathematic definitions. What you see here is x exclamation mark, which is which translate to x factorial. This is the definition of an x factorial. If you have x factor, it is simply as writing x times x minus 1, x times x minus 2, times x minus 3, until you have 1. For example, if you have 4 factorial, it's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. By definition, the x must be positive. You can have minus x factorial, but the x itself must be positive. And if x is a 0, well, factorial 0 equals 1 by definition. Now, here's a little formula. CAB translate to a factorial divided by b factorial times a minus b factorial. Which brings us to the equation that we're going to use for this video. Let me introduce you to the hypergeometric law. Normally, I would rather show you step by step how to do the calculation in a way that a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old can understand it. Since this is, after all, a game marketed to children. But for the purpose of this video, that will not be possible. So here's the formula we're going to be using. Where N, well, big N, is the card left in the deck before drawing or prizing a bunch of cards. Small n are cards being drawn or prized. S, big S, is the copies of a given card left in the deck before drawing or prizing. And small x is the copies of a given card in the deck, in the prizes after prizing or in the hand after drawing. For the purpose of this video, every card in the game is going to fall in one of 3 categories. For the purpose of this video, we have GXs, Stage 1, Restored, EXs. I put Vulcan EX there as an image. My bad. Mega EXs should be in that category. EX should not. Break, Items, Stadium, Supporters, Tools, Special Energies, and Stage 2s. In the second category, we have Basic Pokemons and Talonflame. Again, EXs should be in category B, Mega EX should be in category A. I apologize. And in category C, we have Basic Energies. Only Basic Energies. Now, if we want to prize card in the group A, we're going to use the following formula here, which is the same formula we have seen before, but replacing big N with 59 and X with 6. Now, what you see here in the top row, big S, is the amount of cards that you have in your deck list. Of the card that you want to know, what is your chance of prizing it? Then on the left side is your chance of of how many cards of that you can prize. Now, you will see that you have both a fraction and a number between 0 and 1. That number is your chance of prizing it. Averaged. Approximated. The fraction itself is the actual value if you want to calculate anything. So I put them there for your information, but you can just use the percentage afterwards. So that's your chance of prizing group A. Now you will notice that if you have 4 cards in the deck, your chance of prizing, 4 copies of a card in the deck, your chance of prizing all 4 are close to 0. and because that is the scientific zero. We talked about that last time, but the scientific zero is a meh zero. It's not the actual pure zero in mathematics, but it's a close enough. So that does not mean that prizing all 4 copies of a card will never happen to you. But if it does, ouch. That is a really unlucky game. Now, 4 cards in the B category, we cannot just calculate it the same way we did in the category A. Because for B, there's a chance that we have it in our hand. So we first need to calculate what is the chance of starting with a card from Group B in our hand. Now we're going to use the same formula, but this time treating N as 60 because it includes the first card being drawn. In the first category, we would use 59 because by definition, there had to be at least 1 basic in the hand for it to not go into a mulligan. And we're going to use 7 because we are drawing 7 cards before prizing. Now, this time, the S means the amount of the given basic or Talonflame in the deck list, while X symbolizes the amount of copies of that card in your hand. Everything else is still the same. So then we have here your chance of prizing a card a posteriori of drawing for setting up. What a posteriori mean is after having the information. In Group A, we can only discount the fact that you will have a basic in your hand because we can calculate for all your matches because that's the only information there is. But here we know that you have a hand. We know what are the cards in the hand. So since you have your hand, you can use this graph during a match to know exactly what is the chance of prizing cards. And this will be true, and this graph here will be useful in every single game you play. You will know, after seeing your hand, what is your chance of having prized each card in your deck. Except energies of which you have, basic energies of which you have more than 4. So again, the big S here is the numbers of the given card left in the deck, meaning that you haven't drawn in your hand. And X is your chance of how many of it for each of them of being prized. Now, if we combine both of the last 2 graphs, the chance of prizing a posteriori of drawing and starting with a B card in hand, we're able to calculate the chances of prizing cards from Group B, which is this graph here. I did not put the fractions here because that would be monstrous. So just trust me on that one or do the calculation yourself. Again, big S is the amount of cards in the deck list, while X is the amount of cards being prized. Now here is what we have is Group C, basic energies. For basic energies, you're going to have to calculate yourself because S here is the amount of the given basic energies in the deck list. That can vary way too much. And since you can have more up to 6 and more basic energies, unlike the other X, which was always defined from 0 to 4, this time you can define it from 0 to 6. Well, good luck calculating that if you want to for your deck. And I know this video was late, and in consequences, there will not be a video next week. University is still a thing. I cannot just ignore it because of YouTube. So we will see each other in what is now a week and a half for the next step toward knowing the mathematics of the turn 1 Tapu Lele plays.